Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back.
So, semi personal read, either pick card one or card two. So, we're doing card two first, okay? There you go. Look at that. Look at it. All right. It takes discipline to focus on repetitive tasks. This act being done over and over again helps artists and tradespeople to reach new heights of perfection. Nothing is done right the first time. It takes time to develop the skill. Putting in hard work becomes a training program. Prudence means to govern over oneself. This is apparent in any work that takes time to do. One must have willpower to make sure tasks get finished on time and within budget. This is a skill learned over time and with practice. The first sets may not be as good as the last, but with confidence, a steady rhythm can be made. So, for people who chose number two, you're in the process. You're setting the pace. This might be an indication that at some point you'll begin to feel frustrated. Progress is not happening fast enough for your taste. Um, that doesn't mean progress isn't happening, right? It takes effort. Sometimes you have to continue to repeat the same task over and over and over in order to cultivate the appropriate level of skill. Excuse me, the appropriate level of capacity, capability. There are certain exercises that I do at the gym. Okay, first off, this popped in my head because there was an interview with a gentleman. I forget his name. He is like the head of the wrestling whatever. Um, Something McMahon. McMahon. I don't know. I know his face. But anyways, um he's an older gentleman and he's pretty he has a pretty athletic build. And someone during the interview had asked him, or no, this is what the video is showing. The question flashes on the screen. Do you remember the reason you began working out to begin with? And he gets very teary-eyed and he's like, no, like he doesn't want to answer it. And that totally had me thinking about, kind of part of the reason why I began really working out. Um, and it was this thing. Vince McMahon, is that his name? Something like that. I think that's it. I'm not sure. Part of the reason was because I had been repeatedly physically threatened, right? And it was this thing of me knowing that my body at that time, your girl know how to fight. I'm not even joking. I know how to fight. Um, my body at that time, though, had become so deconditioned because of first the stress of things that were going on, all the threats and stuff, and then um, that threw all my hormones off, and like my entire health just crashed. It crashed. And that video popped in my head this morning as I was working out, and I kind of just smiled to myself in the mirror because, again, you know, I know how to defend myself. I know how to fight aggressively. I don't fight like a girl. I didn't grow up with sisters. I grew up with brothers. They're all bodybuilders. They all know MMA. They taught their sister. They all went and did the whole Muay Thai. I did a different modality. Oh, yeah, no, I've earned a couple belts. I don't talk about that much. But I'm over there working out this morning and I realize I'm fucking strong. This might be the strongest I've ever been in my entire life. I looked at myself in the mirror at the gym, and for the first time ever, I looked and I saw the figure of a competitor. I was like, "Bitch, where'd this come from?" I'm not even joking. I was like, "Ooh, girl, look at that itty bitty waist. Oh shit, is that some lats popping through?" Oh fuck. And then I was like, it was only a couple seconds that I did the stage pose and I was looking and I stopped and I was just like standing there thinking to myself, motherfuckers better know what they're getting into. Because a lot of the exercises that I do, they're drills for fighters. Not even joking. They're drills for fighters. And that posing that I did, it was right after I had done a specific cable technique that really works to strengthen the hip flexors that are involved in stomping. Not even joking. And I was like, it is what it is. This face, this face. Because that's what was playing. And that's why, going back to what I said earlier, it was like, people motherfuckers don't know. I came up when E40 was coming up. We get outlandish. Yeah, no, I'm not a violent person. I don't. If you force me, you give me no other option but to defend myself. It's not going to end well. Probably for both of us. I wouldn't willingly choose that. Um, but it was definitely a thing of, damn, how long have I been at this? Like, really focused. I'd say maybe 14, 16 months. It's over a year. Every day, show up, show up, show up. Same shit, same shit, same shit. And you guys saw me several weeks back, like, this is fucking bullshit. I'm gonna give up. I'm just gonna stop. I can't do it. That's okay. You can feel that way. When it's monotonous, when it feels like there's no end in sight. Yeah, no, sometimes you feel that way. That don't mean shit. Feeling that way doesn't mean anything. It means you need to maybe remind yourself of what it is you're trying to do. That's all. And what you do after you remind yourself of what your objective was to begin with. That is where the true power comes in. That is where the true power comes in. As a matter of fact, so like today was leg day and I was working out on the Smith machine. I was doing my calves at that point. I was seated and I had the bar across my knee and I was like trying to work on my calves and my music plays really loud and this guy that I don't really see at the gym very often, um, he comes up to me and he's saying something. And based on the smile he gives me, he's an older gentleman. Based off the smile he gives me, it's like, I don't know if he's trying to flirt, but we need to nip this in the bud. And I was like, he points at the weights, and I assume he is asking if he can grab some of the weight plates because I had just used all of them. Like the Smith machines beside me had pretty much no weights, no heavy weights because I had used all of them. And he goes and grabs the weight and he tries to say something else. And at that point, I'm like, let me take my earbud out because I don't want him thinking that I'm cool with any type of like flirty shit. Because I'm learning, like, no, I'm not going to be nice to random ass men who are inappropriate, even mildly in their words anymore. I don't have to be an absolute bitch, but it's going to be nipped in the bud. Took my earbud out and I was like, I'm sorry. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm going to grab this. And I overhear another guy who I do see at the gym often. As I was pulling it out before I said I'm sorry, I overheard him and then I pieced it together. That older man had said something about, "I'm just gonna grab one of the weights. You don't look like you're gonna need this." Another guy that watches me work out, he's been watching me work out for quite a few weeks. He's never inappropriate, so it's no big deal. But, he always stares as I stack on more weight. What I overheard him say was something along the lines of, "You must be new here. She uses all the weights." And I was just like, "Good looking out." That other guy embarrassed the older gentleman as I was like, "I'm sorry." And so that's when he was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna grab the weight." Sure, I'm done with it. It don't look like okay, okay. I just pressed your entire weight, sir. Okay. You could have that. I'm done with it. I was just like, reel it in, girl. Save it for the weights. Save it for the weights. And I reeled it in because that wasn't necessary for me to engage with any of that. It wasn't. It wasn't. And that older gentleman watched me as I continued and finished off my workout because after that, I went ahead and I did deadlifts, cable deadlifts, because I don't want to put weights back. And he watched me go ahead and lift the entire fucking stack. Every single last weight was deadlifted by me. 3 sets. Biatch. Yeah. Mhm. And when I was done with that, I look over and I was like, "Sir, don't be rude to me. My husband's not here to save you." "Sir, my husband is not physically in the gym to save you from his wife. Don't start shit with me. I got pre-workout in my system." All right. So, guys, for those of you who chose card number 1, here is your information. Okay. Here goes. Card number 1, Hanged Man. The hanged man dangles by one foot, suspended in a moment. There is no way down for him, and he realizes it. So he takes this time to be aware of his surroundings in a new light. Most of us don't go through life hanging upside down. We avoid the experience at all costs. Some of us, though, take the opportunity to view the world with different lenses, broadening where we receive input. Doing so changes us. We gain so much more creativity and individuality when we dare to view the world in a new way. Doing so means we make sacrifices. And a lot of people are scared to do that because you've made sacrifices for the wrong people, for people who were not worthy of the price you paid to learn that they were not worthy. Don't let them continue to mess up your journey. Okay? The sacrifice to move freely around, the sacrifice of having our autonomy to do what we want. Sacrifices are made with every choice we make. The hanged man in a position of sacrifice gives us another time to pause and reflect on the journey we are on. How closer are we on our road to attaining our desires? Have we slowed down and rethought the path? What needs to change and be sacrificed so we can return to a whole experience once more? These are the questions which lead to a wider spiritual life. So, this is telling me that if you, what's going on here? Sorry. um, Marlene, I have Diwali lights on and Diwali lamps are lit. and one was running out of fuel, and Marlene decided to blow it out because she was afraid of fire. Honey, they're self-contained. Anyways, she blew it out. Um, I'm wondering if what you need to sacrifice is your loyalty to people and circumstance that you have long since outgrown. Like for many of us, we stay in certain um frames of mind. We stay in certain emotions. For others, it's like we stay in relationships that are not healthy for us. Um, you need to reassess where your loyalty is and why you're loyal to it. You can't be loyal to something or someone blindly just because you've known them for so long. You can't, unfortunately. You have to reassess. You have to know what it is that benefits you with this person being in your life. And I'm not talking about transactional, like being transactional. I'm not talking about using people. I'm saying, are you learning and growing because this person is present in your life? Like, are the trials and tribulations that they consistently deliver to your door, are you still learning and growing from it? Or is it something that's just like Groundhog's Day over and over and over, and you're just not even paying attention anymore? If that's the case, I mean, why are you still continuing to remain loyal to that? You're wasting your fuel and you're distorting the new fuel that's being created. Because remember, I said anger is some of the most potent fuel, but you have to know how to use that, how to harness it responsibly, safely, accurately, right? Um, for those of you who can sense energy, no, I do this in class, but I don't know that I want to do it here. It's where I invite my students to kind of get a feel for my energy while I'm just chill. And then I invite them to reassess my energy when I allow some of that anger to bubble up to the surface, and you can feel a palpable change in that energy. Am I being threatening? No. It's class. Why am I going to hurt my students? Like, come on now. But you can feel it. And typically, what ends up happening is when the students feel it, they're like, ooh, dude, that's different. That I could feel the difference, right? Anger is very powerful, but you can never allow yourself to get out of control with that, because then it becomes an inferno rather than a fuel. It becomes a ticking time bomb. You don't want that. You don't want that. Okay. Um, Sacrifice and surrender, enlightenment, perspective. Stop struggling. You are where you need to be. I think primarily the you are where you need to be, that's the primary message. I think for many of us, we can't accept that we are exactly where we need to be. Right now, this is where you need to be. Well, why can't you accept that? Well, because you've been in that space for quite some time now, and it's become normalized to you to the degree that you don't understand how long it took, how hard you had to work to get to where you're at right now. Like, to me, my life right now as it is, I this is like, this is life. It's life. But if I allow myself to see from the perspective of soul, the journey that I've been on, it's this thing of like, damn, it has taken me so fucking long to get to this space. It's taken me over 44 years. Like, shit. Do you know how much I had to go through to get here? That's a lot of fuckery, dude. That's a lot. It's a lot. Like, damn. There was circumstance I didn't know if I was gonna survive that. There was a lot of stuff, like, oh my god. Oh my god. Damn. I'm even, like, mind boggled right now, just thinking about all of these different things, like, "Oh, I'm feeling some type of way." But before I gave myself the time to really look, I was like, I mean, life is life. What's the big deal? Like, it is what it is. I'm where I'm at, whatever that means. And it is what it is. But the moment I gave myself a moment, it became something of like, holy shit. I've been through so much shit. Like, it's crazy. But is it? Is it crazy or is it what I needed? Is what you've been through crazy or is it what you needed? Right? Even think about the way you found me. Oftentimes, people will find me when they are ready. Oh my God. My Moldavite. Hold on. From this angle, it looks like a heart, but it's not. Sometimes, sometimes we're unable to see the love that's already present until we allow ourselves to lose focus, if only for just a moment, to lose focus as we view life. And that will help us to change our perspective of what we're viewing. Because when you're too focused, oftentimes you are fully invested in what you perceive to be the appropriate way to see things, right? You become too invested in that. I'm going to show this to you guys. Um, I was looking over, I was like, my Moldavite is a heart. Oh, did it? Oh, no, I didn't. Look, look. Look, right? So, oh, I don't know if you could see it from this angle. It looked like a heart. I'm like, it has a heart in it. And then when you look at it directly from the top, that's clearly not a heart. That's clearly not a heart. It's like raw moldavite that's mounted, right? And if you look at it, this is supposed to be silver, 925 silver. If you look at it, and it's been in a jewelry case that helps to prevent tarnishing from happening. I mean, the amount of shit that I've been through in the past 3 weeks. Let me show you my ring. This you guys have seen this before. It almost looks black, like a gunmetal. It's like, yeah, it didn't look like this 3 weeks ago. And no, I'm not in a humid area at all. Just dry AF. It is dry AF on a mountain. And that tells me that the things I've been through, my spiritual tools have been being used by soul to protect me, to defend me, to hide me, to do whatever is necessary to keep me safe as I continue through whatever process I'm in. You're never left without the things that are necessary. It might not seem like it because I tell you, past 3 weeks for me personally has been a fucking shit show. An absolute fucking private shit show. That's okay. I mean, the shit that was done is not okay, but it's okay. That's part of the process. That's part of the process. It's part of the process. You need to let yourself go through whatever process, okay? You need to give yourself permission to get within your head, within your perception, to the point where you can accept the process that you're in. And once you begin to accept that it's merely a process that you're in, you then can begin to da, 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 recognize what the process is trying to do for you on your behalf. Soul is preparing you for a massive glow up. Soul is preparing you for life changing abundance. Soul wants beautiful things to happen for you. Give soul what it wants. Let it happen. Let it happen. Give soul what it wants. It wants to provide for you, right? Looks like something important slipped through the cracks. You may not be aware, but you're missing out on vital information. Okay, what is the vital information? That all sorts of aid are waiting for you to accept it. It's awaiting for you to confirm details of finding your support paths. Hmm. Yep. Notice of program updates, meaning you're being upgraded. Your codes are being upgraded. It's all covered. Be better prepared. These are some oof. These are some powerful option messages. Another option for you. Mhm. Notice of assistance headed your way. Oh, this one says, you've been putting in. We put in and we put in and we put in. At a certain point, there has to be some return, right? Would you like to know where you can start getting back? I'm not even joking. Like, these are the messages. The assistance opportunities laid out here are aligned with the needs of you. Woo! Soul has told you everything you need to know. This reading has confirmed for you everything that needs to be confirmed. Go forward with confidence. Really let yourself, give yourself permission. Go forward with confidence. All your efforts are being supported, and your efforts, not just from today, not just from last week, not just from last month, your efforts for the past 3 years, it's about to come to fruition. You're about to receive all that you've worked really hard for. And for those who have been malignant, you're about to receive that too. You're about to receive that tremendously, tremendously. So, to my community, make sure that you always conduct yourself with integrity. It's not too late. Conduct yourself with integrity, with compassion, with grace. Um, and be fully aware of what you're agreeing to do. Be fully aware of what you are intending to do. It's never okay to screw people over. Not that you guys would, but I don't know, by some odd chance that someone who is new to our community needs to hear this, there you go. That's your message. Okay. That's your message. Now is the time to choose to be the greatest expression of your truth, your authenticity, and your soul's purpose. Be the greatest expression of those things. You can still choose to do that. You can still choose to be that. So choose it. Choose it. And if you're thinking, like, well, I already did bad things. Okay, sometimes you have to do in order to understand why you're not going to do that again, right? When I was in high school, this final story I'll share. When I was in high school, there was this like trend that was happening. It was the dumbest shit ever, but when you're in high school, you do stupid shit. You just do. You don't think about it because you're young. And so the thing that you were supposed to do was put like some salt in your palm, and then you get an ice cube and you hold on to the ice cube for a minute. Don't do this. You're going to fuck yourself up. And you hold on to that for a minute. And in that time, because of the salt, it's going to cause the ice to frostbite burn you. Fucking idiotas. Oh my God. So I did it. I did. Um, I did it. And you're probably like, why would you do that? Well, what they said was, they didn't tell me it was gonna burn me. They were like, yeah, no, it's gonna leave a mark. It's gonna leave a mark on your hand. The ice will leave the mark. And it will be in a specific letter. You'll see a letter on your hand, and whatever letter that is, that's who you're gonna end up with. Okay. Okay. And so everybody did it. Yeah. And as I was doing it, I was like, I think this is going to give me frostbite. But because I had already put the salt and I had already got out the ice, I committed to it. And I was like, I'm just going to hold on to it. And then it burned. It hurt really bad. It hurt really, really, really bad. It fucked me up for like a week. I mean, could you imagine a burn on your palm? It did leave a letter. It did. I left a letter of who my soulmate is. It left a letter, but it also burned the shit out of me. It burned the shit out of me. It was so unnecessary. Was it accurate? My husband's family nickname starts with that letter. I had a J burned into my palm, even with a line on top, like a full on J with a line on top. And my husband's family nickname starts with a J. Yeah, and I still didn't believe that we were supposed to be together when we first started dating. You see, sometimes soul will give you all the indication you need. It will give you all the information that you need, and you still won't believe it. It's okay. Let yourself live through it so that you can't deny, no matter how hard you try, you can't deny the gravity of the confirmation you're being given, right? It did. And yes, that's what teenagers do. It was the dumbest shit ever. And I had a boyfriend at the time, and his name did not start with a J. It didn't. It didn't. But that was the boyfriend that wanted to get into a car club that my husband, I guess, was a founder of. And that is how I met my husband first. No, we didn't talk or exchange numbers. I was in a relationship that was ending. It was like the very tail end of that relationship, and he too was in the very tail end of his relationship. And so, no, we're not grimy like that. Both he and I were very old fashioned. Seriously, we're both very old fashioned. And so, I did meet him then, and then I think like a year or two passed, and then our paths crossed again. And at that point, we were both single. He didn't remember me. Oh, but I remember him. I did. I remembered him because after he had um he had texted me after he got my number. I was working, and he got my number because he was just so cocky that I failed to give him my fake number. I don't give people my number if I'm working. That's just like, no, I don't want you bothering me. But because he was so cocky, I was just like, ew, why are you so, who are you? And then yeah. I thought he wasn't gonna call me for a while, but he called me within like 30-40 minutes. And then that's when I was like, oh my God, I think I've met you before. Do you know so and so? He's like, yeah. And I was like, I've met you before. So yeah. So we'll give you all the confirmation you need. Listen to those confirmations, listen to yourself, and let your good life happen. Let the glow up happen. Let that glow up happen. Okay. Just do it. Do it. Let it happen. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live, and I shall see you guys again very, very soon. Bye, everyone. Ooh, it's 3:33. Okay, bye.